Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Your Morning Drive. I am your host, Logan, coming to you from Fireworks Studio in Marietta, Georgia. Big shout out to Fireworks for having me. They offer a creative co-working space dedicated to uplifting and supporting their local community. If you're working at home or you're working at an office space, and you're tired of it, if you're tired of your spouse, your kids, your dog, the people doing your lawn, whatever the case may be, if you're just trying to get out of the house and work somewhere different that's not a Starbucks or a coffee shop, come to Fireworks. If you tell them that Logan from the podcast sent you, they will give you a free day pass where you can just hang out here at the space all day, take advantage of their amenities, meet their amazing staff and other members. You won't regret it. So if you're looking for that change, make sure you let them know that you sent, or that I sent you, sorry. Or if you book them online, use code DRIVE for a free day pass. Before we dive in completely, a couple notes. Make sure no matter what listening platform you're on right now that you hit follow, subscribe, whatever you have to do to make sure that new episodes come to you every single week without interruption, so that you can just queue up your phone on a Wednesday morning and say, hey, look, there's the new Your Morning Drive episode. So make sure you're following, subscribing, liking, commenting, following on all the places, social media as well, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. Everything is just Your Morning Drive, at Your Morning Drive. So we are fairly simple to find. If you want merch, you like supporting your local podcasters, we have merch. We have t-shirts, hats, and golf towels for my golf guys out there. So if you like all that stuff, go ahead and go to the hammerheadcreations.com/shop, where we can get you hooked up with some merchandise branded towards Your Morning Drive. And it supports me and the podcast and the business, everything in between. This is actually also the first partnership episode with Cartersville Living. We're very excited about that. This podcast is proudly brought to us in part by our friends over at Cartersville Living, powered by Best Version Media. Their magazine is your go-to source for uplifting local content, expert insights, community events, and more. They're bringing people together every month with compelling stories and informative articles from around town. Each new edition of Cartersville Living brings us closer to our vision of uniting the community, one person, one home, one business at a time. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get started. My guest today is a beloved figure in Cartersville, Georgia, whose legacy spans decades of service in medicine, music, and even insect research. After more than 35 years in primary care and adolescent medicine, he's continued his mission to put patients first by co-founding an outpatient lab testing facility that makes diagnostics more accessible and affordable. When he's not advancing community wellness, you'll find him playing with Blue Ridge String Band or contributing to research miscellaneouses around town, because curiosity never retires. Please welcome my new friend, Dr. Mark Wigley. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. Hello, it's great to be here.
Thanks for being here, my friend. This is a first. I don't know if you know this, but you were the first guest that I've welcomed alongside my collaborations with Caitlin and the Cartersville Living magazine.
Is that right?
And
They do a great job.
They do, and you are the cover edition for August. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's coming out here in a couple of weeks. Are you excited? Have
They
you ever
put
been
that
on
low threshold to get out. Yeah.
Are you excited for that? What was that like when you ended up? Did she come to you and say, "Hey, you've been around town for so long. We want to highlight you"? How did that work?
I was at the Cartersville Business Club. I've been over there, and I've been to those things before, and they were kind of on the dry side. But the Cartersville Business Club was just awesome. I enjoy going, and I met her there, and we did one of those one-on-one sessions they do, and I guess she thought I was interesting or unusual or something. And so
Or a weird combination of the
something
two.
like that. And she wanted me to do her cover for August. So I said, I guess so.
Yeah, heck yeah. And it just brings, well, I mean, like we've said, it just brings good exposure to you and the businesses that you're involved in and all of those things. And again, like they said in their advertisement, I mean, it just brings people together. And with someone that's been around town for as long. So have you been, give me a little bit of your origin story, Mark. Where are you from originally? Siblings, upbringing, kind of give me the general backstory of Dr. Wigley.
Yeah. Well, I was born at Floyd Medical Center in Floyd County, but I lived my entire life right off Kingston Highway in Floyd County. It wasn't too far into Floyd County, but we lived in Floyd County. So I went to Floyd County schools. I started out at what used to be the Johnson High School, and then it went to just first through eighth, and I finished school there. And after finishing school, I went on to Berry and studied chemistry and biology at Berry and went on to medical school. And I grew up with one sister. She's a retired educator. She spent 30 years teaching kindergarten and was actually a very good kindergarten teacher, is what I always hear. Oh, she was a great kindergarten teacher. I used to say that, and I think, well, okay, but obviously she was a good kindergarten teacher.
I'm sure you made the joke at the time, oh no, our future generations are screwed or something like that.
I won't discount that I said that once or twice.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, 30 years in a kindergarten classroom, that's some work. My wife teaches second grade, and she's only been doing it for 5 or 6 years, and the story she tells, so I can't even imagine 30 years.
Yeah, wow. That's a long time.
And they're young in kindergarten too.
Yeah,
so
they're young,
like,
and
they don't even have personalities yet. They're just wild kids.
According to her, they have personality.
Really?
Yeah, but my dad, he worked for General Electric, and my mom was stay-at-home mom. So I had a great upbringing. My parents, we weren't wealthy people for sure, not even remotely close to that, but we had what we needed, and I had a great raising. Great parents.
Very good. Love that. Love that. I've noticed, because I'm in your same boat, I had a really good upbringing, really great, supportive, awesome parents. And I realize the more and more people I talk to, Mark, that that's not as common as that I would have hoped. You grow up, when you do have nice parents, you grow up in this bubble where you just assume that everyone has a great relationship with their family just as you do. And then when I get in here, especially, and I'm sure you get it when you're talking to patients over the years, people's families kind of suck sometimes, to put it plainly.
I would say that's true. And it's more the exception than the rule nowadays. And even back then, it was, some families looked like they were perfectly put together, but, under that surface, it wasn't quite as put together. But I have to say my family couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
Had any better raising than I did.
That's great. That's awesome. You hear people talk about, well, I have a buddy that, my family, my dad grew up with, let's see how many, there's 5, including him, 5 siblings. And then my mom grew up with 5 other siblings plus her. So both of them came up in packed households. And so now, as we're all grown and adults, and half of them are all retired, and we do a lot of family get-togethers. Our family parties a lot together. We come together for 4th of July, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, all kinds of holidays and celebrations, graduations, weddings, all those things. And I had a friend recently tell me, he was like, buddy, you have no idea how lucky you are that your family does that, because my family does not, and I wish we did. And every time someone tells me that, I'm like, man, it just kind of takes me back, because you just assume that everyone's family is super tight, super just like, sounds like yours was or is, and mine is to this day.
Now it's small. There's not you can fit them all in this room probably, but it's, they're very, very close family.
So when you were growing up, were you ever athletic? Did you do sports? Were you a band guy? Were you just do your schoolwork and stick to yourself kind of guy? What kind of student or kid were you, per se?
I was always industrious. I always had some kind of project. I started a little business when I was like 13.
Really?
Yeah. And
what was the business?
I did some painting and, typical lawn care, lawnmower, and just whatever, make a little cash with.
Sure.
I did play music. I've always played music. Music is just one of those things I like. My sister's been a church organist for 50 years, I think, at the same place. she wore one organ out and had to get another one to replace it with. Wow.
50 years.
Yeah, 50 years, a
Wow.
long
In the
time.
same place.
Same place. So so I've always liked music, but yeah, I was industrious and I like working. I guess I got two nickels to put together, and I wanted two dimes and then maybe two quarters. But
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so you always industrious, always working on something, whether it was something for school, something for just to keep you entertained at home, or everything in between. So it sounds like you kind of were bitten by the bug of kind of, well, maybe that's not fair to say, because a lot of kids go and they start a business like a lemonade stand or a lawn care service or something like that. But your parents weren't entrepreneurs. Your dad worked for General Electric, like you said, and your mom was stay at home. So it's not like you grew up seeing your parents be in business with themselves. Do you think that was always going to be part of your path, or did it just happen that way?
it just sort of happened that way, I guess. I just always liked to work. I don't know. It's just sort of in my blood, I guess. Dad was a hard worker, and I guess he instilled that in me, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I've noticed a lot over the years that not a lot of people have that work ethic anymore, especially in my generation or below. There's a lot of people that don't have the work ethic, but
work ethic is hard to find nowadays.
It
to find
is.
somebody who has a strong work ethic, you want to hang on to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember telling my friends in high school, I mean, my parents had very little rules, but one of them was if you're not an athlete, you're going to have a job. So I had a job ever since I was 14. And whether it was picking up balls off a golf course after the driving range closed, or bagging groceries or working at a movie theater, I always had a job. And I would text my boss all the time. Me, just as a teenager, part-time worker, when I worked at a restaurant, I would text my boss and say, "Can I come in early and help you prepare the food for the restaurant for the day?" And he would always go, "Yeah. Heck yeah." And he always was so surprised. He was like, "Man, nobody ever asks if they can come in early and help." And I was like, "I'm a kid. I don't have nothing to do."
Yeah, that's a rare bird, though.
Yeah. So I've learned after talking to so many people, they say,
Absolutely.
"Geez." But my dad also, I can relate, hard worker. So he must have instilled that in me and my siblings at a very young age that he basically raised us with like, the world doesn't owe you anything. And if you want something, you got to go get it.
That's true. I don't think that's the major thought at the present, but they really don't owe us anything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you grew up and you immediately started going into the medical field, right? You went to medical school. Was that always the path, or was there ever a different kind of, were you ever interested in like engineering or any kind of other field, or was it kind of always from the get-go going to be medical?
Well, that's what I planned to do, was go to medical school, and I went to Barry, and John McDowell, he was in charge of the CDC for a long, long time, and he retired from that, and he became a professor, and I did entomology research there with him at Barry, and really I sort of almost started to change gears, and he tried to get me to take a PhD in entomology. I did some mosquito research and stuff with him there, and I contemplated it, but I decided no, I'll go in the direction I was planning in the first place. But I love insect research and insect information, and I still do that today, actually.
I want to talk about that for a second. Where does that come from? Have you just, even as a child, always been fascinated by insects and stuff? So like, where did that start to develop? Do you know?
That came from Dr. McDowell.
When you took that course?
Well, I took the biology course. That was the very first course I had there. He was just an interesting guy, intelligent, like major league intelligent. And he was interested. He asked me me and another young lady, she did horsefly research, but asked me did I want to do some population research with, it's called Aedes tricereatus. It's a tree hole mosquito. I said, yeah, sure, that'd be sort of fun. So I started doing that with him. So I did something with him the whole time I was at Barry.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. And so to this day, you said you're still doing it. What exactly are you doing?
Well,
physically,
at my house, we had a huge issue with Asian lady beetles. You know, those look like ladybugs, but they're orange looking. They get on the top of your ceiling. And it looks like a racetrack around your ceiling watching them go around.
Sure.
We had them in, some houses. At the house we had probably, 1,000 It
Really?
would be, in the spring of the year mostly. So I called the pest control people, and they said we really don't have anything to do for it, and they said you can, caulk the outside of the house, but my dad and I built the house I live in, and it was caulked, so the caulking I don't think was a big issue,
Yeah.
and I went on. At that point, what I could get online to see if there was any information, there was nothing I could find that would stop it. So population research, insect population research is what we did with Dr. McDowell. And I thought it's got to be some way. So I researched why they got in the house in the first place. And of course, they overwinter in the walls of the house. The ones on the inside are really sort of just lost. And so I worked on an anti-pheromone and application process. And so I used it at the house, and I went from like 1,000 plus to zero. We had zero for 3 years in a row. And this past season, I had 100. So I'm going to retreat the house again in the fall. And so it worked really well. So I've in the process of trying to engage the entomology department at well, it started at the University of Georgia, and now it's University of Florida. They have a bit bigger department, and I'm waiting to hear some information from them, because there's still some biology that needs to be worked out with the insect, and how you would do it and how you would do it commercially, and a whole bunch of other stuff needs to be done. But it worked at my house, worked at my sister's house.
Yeah, well, that's two testimonials that you have
it's
against.
worked more than one time. So,
And this is something you developed?
I did.
How did you?
Well, my undergraduate degree's in chemistry, so I started doing research on the things that sort of block the activity of the pheromone, and just looked around and found some way to apply it. And I did it. I thought, well, I don't know if it'd work or not, but it worked very, very well. I went from vacuum every weekend that I went to the house to none. We had none for 3 years in a row, so that's sort of nice.
Yeah, I'd say
Now,
so.
they don't do any damage, but they are just aggravating. It's just a nuisance to come in and have a bazillion ladybugs laying on the floor.
Talk about taking matters into your own hands. You called the extermination people and they say you're SOL, buddy. And you said, fine, I'll do it myself.
I guess that's what happened.
That's crazy.
I just didn't like them, so I thought we'll figure out some reasons. And
wow.
So it worked. So it may be a commercially available thing one of these days, hopefully fairly soon.
I'd say so. Get on that. Call it Wigley spray or something.
Ladybug be gone.
Hey, there you go. There you go. That's it.
That'd be the name.
So you're in medical school and you get through that. How long were you in school?
I was in undergraduate school for 4 years, and medical school for 4 more years, and residency for another 3 years. And I have equivalent of another year for adolescent medicine.
Wow. So a long time.
Yeah.
12 years or so.
Yeah.
Wow. Goodness. So okay. So you get out of college, and then what is the immediate first move career-wise? What's the first thing that you get into?
Get out of medical school, you mean? Or
Sure. You get out of medical school.
I did a residency with the University of Alabama system, and then I moved to Cartersville from there.
Really?
And started in practice with a guy in Cartersville for a period of time, and then another partner and I opened actually an urgent care and occupational medicine facility, but we did sort of a hybrid of everything there. Sure.
What led you to breaking free from the guy that you worked under in Cartersville for some time to getting with that other guy to start your own practice? What got you from working with somebody and you're fine and dandy doing that, but then one day something clicked and you said, we got to open up our own practice? What got you there?
Well, we did it in combination with it's a Centrex primary care network, which is not around anymore, but we opened it up with him. John Burling and I, we worked together for almost 18 years. He was a great guy, so smart, the most intelligent doctor I've ever been with.
Wow.
So he and I worked together for 18 years. It was really about as perfect together, partnership as you could have. He was just very, very bright, and we spent 18 years, never had a disagreement about patient care, about finances, about anything. Yeah. And
So it was a match made in heaven.
I guess so. He transitioned to retire and he moved over to South Carolina.
Oh, dang.
But,
that hurt to lose him?
oh, yeah, definitely. It was what he needed because his parents needed some help. They were up in years and such, but that's what he needed to do. It wasn't no hard feelings or anything, but yeah, I did hate to see him go.
Sure, of
When
course.
he walked out the door the last time, that was sort of a
Sure. Sentimental moment.
Yeah, sentimental moment, I guess would be the right word.
Sure. Well, that was a sentimental moment, but you guys probably had plenty of, even though you didn't have disagreements, you probably had some downs, you had mostly ups. But you know what makes any day a better day, Mark?
What's that?
A good day. Canned cocktail. Guys, I want to tell you about the next partner of the Your Morning Drive podcast today, and that is Good Days Canned Cocktails. Good Days are a classic cocktail brand created in a convenient, ready-to-drink format to meet the need for a quality pre-mixed cocktail on any occasion. If you want to try them out, you can. They're sold only in Georgia for now. We're about to expand into some other territories, but Georgia for now. So if you're in Georgia, which most of you are, head on over to their website, drinkgooddays.com/locations, and you can find where they're sold near you, at a liquor store, at a convenience spot, wherever the case may be. Check out Good Days Classic Cocktails. They've got a whiskey sour, a vodka lime, a vodka cranberry, and this one, which is my favorite, the gin and lime juice, the Longboat. So check them out. They're a local company started in Marietta. So give them some love. They're trying to grow something local. And we, in this podcast, we love local people. So support Good Days if that is something that you're looking for. If you're looking for a new drink, if you're tired of Budweiser or Corona or whatever the heck you're drinking, try out some Good Days. They're a local company. They're good people and they make a great product. Of course, you must be 21 years of age to consume. Okay, so you're with your partner for however long, 18 years. He packs things up, moves to South Carolina to, take care of family. And so then you're on your own. At that moment, did he pull out of the business and just say it's on you, or did he still remain as kind of part ownership?
Well, we were in that primary care network, so he moved on over to South Carolina. I was there for a little while longer, but my business partner now and I decided we opened the Walk-In MD in Cartersville after that.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Tell me how that process went. How did you go to, again, how did you decide that you were there a couple more years after he left, and then you decided to just say your goodbyes as well and then go and start something new? What was that? How did that kind of come to fruition?
Well, it worked out really rather well. I asked her if she wanted to do that because, she was the business mind of that operation. We sort of did some of the creative stuff and got it going, and the medical part, and she ran the business. So we embarked on it, and it was extremely successful. We saw 45 people the very first day we were open.
45 people the first day?
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
Now, we were a little surprised, I'll have to say, but it went smoothly because everybody that was working in the office there, had been working with me for a long time. So it wasn't like it was all new people. But yeah, we saw 45 people the very first day, and I thought, ooh, I didn't have any trouble sleeping that night, I'll tell you that.
And you quite literally had a line out the door on the first day.
Well, it was very organized, so we never did have any kind of big lines, but it was, we saw 45 people the first day, so wow. It went rather well.
That's unheard of, man, for opening on that. Usually it's a slow build of people.
That's what I thought it would be, and, started, taking, visit times, and next thing you know, looked at it, and it was busier and busier, and advertised we were open, and on social media, that's the only advertising we really did to speak of, and 45 people the first day, so we were very blessed. It went really well.
And what year is this that you opened this place?
It was 17 years ago.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. And social media at that point was very
Facebook,
not like it was today.
Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook was it.
Yeah, that was about it. Yeah,
wow.
We just did it. We advertised it on that and just word of mouth. And so it went rather well.
What was Facebook like in the heyday of Facebook before it's what it is today?
Well, I don't know, really wasn't. I don't know that I was an expert on it then, and I'm not an expert on it now. But we just put on there that we were opening an office and what name of it was, where it was, and it was busy right straight away. So, but we'd already been, working there a long time, and I guess they wanted to come.
I guess so. And this place, this wasn't associated with any major brand or anything. This was a brand that you and her started from the ground up.
I started in April working on some stuff, and she and I spent about 6 weeks working on getting everything together and all the, iOS platform to be able to put it on iPads, and I couldn't find any EHR system that would support an iPad back then, and so it was a challenge, but we figured it out. If you look back at it now and somebody who knows what they're doing said that was the crudest bunch of stuff I've ever seen, I don't know, maybe so, but it worked for us. So, yeah. But yeah, it was pretty smooth. We didn't make any kind of appointments except for 48 hours out. We didn't make any kind of 3-month, 6-month appointments because, my opinion and about our opinion was that, a lot of people, especially people who work and who, have families and obligations, you have no idea what you're going to be doing 3 months from now. So you set a primary care appointment 3 months out, you really don't have any clue if you're going to be able to make it or not. And of course, I think that's the reason a lot of primary care offices have so many no-shows, because they make an appointment 3 months ago and they don't know what they're going to be doing, and they got some kind of obligation that day. So we just got rid of all that. So all our stuff was really just acutely set. But we did all the regular primary care. We did what other primary care people did, except for we didn't do it with the 3-month appointments. It was all 24, 48 hours out.
Interesting. What other things? Because I mean that in and of itself is different, right? Like not having. Like if we booked an appointment today, our next available is December 7th. Are you good for that? And instead of saying, yeah, sounds good. So when your patients would want a follow-up, would you just tell them, all right, next time you want an appointment, call us a couple days before you can come in and
That's right.
book the appointment? And it worked?
It worked perfectly. We never had any real trouble.
Were there sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
Were there any other things that you guys kind of decided you're like, all right, well, if we're going to do our own thing, we're going to do things this way? Just like the 48-hour, 24-hour appointment buffer. Was there any other thing that you guys kind of broke the mold on that was just a little different than most primary care places?
Well, we did it all on iPads, which nobody hardly used them back then. And so everything was done in the room. All the questions were taken on iPad. They signed everything on iPad at the front desk, and so we got rid of a lot of the paper stuff. But
Sure.
You still seemed like we were shredding paper every day, but supposedly we were paperless.
Wow. I mean, at that time too, 17 years ago or so, I mean, if you're doing all that, you're ahead of its time. I mean, you're ahead of the times with your use of technology. I mean,
yeah, I would say so. I would.
You were on the cutting edge.
I guess that's what you would call it. Cutting edge or something. But it worked well for us.
Sure.
And we didn't have any difficulty with it. And it was pretty smooth. It cut back on a lot of the no-shows people are always concerned about. And really, I think that's how it all should be done. I mean, why do you want to make an appointment that far out? I never have understood that. So we really did primary care kind of like it was when I first started a long time back, and because it's really not the urgent care centers. We just did the whole everything. Somebody got cut, they came in, we sutured them in the office. If they came in with a fracture, we managed their fracture. If they came in with hypertension, we managed our hypertension, or congestive heart failure, or whatever the problem might be. So I still suture people in the office, and we did all the stuff that we did when we started out, as opposed to send everybody to the hospital, the emergency room, or urgent care if they got cut or whatever.
New sponsor alert, everybody. I want to tell you about my new friends over at Value Sesh. Bang for buck doesn't always have to mean cheap quality. For Value Sesh, it means that they're dedicated to offering the best tasting Delta 9 sweets with solid potency at a totally decent price. They are a family company that loves to share good vibes, and their candy always does the trick without breaking the bank. Try their 50-count bags of taffies, pure Wisconsin honey sticks, and a full menu of signature gummies. They're federally legal, ship right to your door. What don't you like about this operation? Their gummies are great. Their taffies are great. All of their products are good. I tried them myself this last weekend, and I am a new customer. So should you. Try out Value Sesh. Go to valuesesh.com to get yours. That's VALUSESH.com so that you can try out their products yourself. You will not regret it. Value Sesh. Sesh for less.
We had an x-ray in the office, and we just did all that in the office.
Interesting.
Maybe we were crazy, I don't know, but it worked pretty well for us.
Well, I mean, it sounds like everything you guys did. I mean, again, like you were ahead of the time on the technology. You had some enhancements to the appointment building process. I mean, you guys did a lot of things that were different, and it sounded like, I mean, you had friggin' 45 people on day one. So from the get-go, you guys were popular, it sounds like. Is that right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I guess you would say that. You know, we were busy right away. We were just blessed, I guess, that we had plenty of people to see. And as time progressed, we had to be sort of careful that we didn't have too many.
Sure.
Because you don't want to not be able to provide everybody with what they needed. But the whole time, I never had anybody complain. I felt like I was rushed out or he herded me in like cattle. I've heard all those kind of words from people before, but never really had that problem. At least I never heard of it anyway.
You got real lucky, man. I mean, you guys, it sounded like you guys had a really good thing going. So then what brought you to, is that business still open or is that no more now?
It is. I sold it to Dr. Ikora, really intelligent lady. She bought it and she's still operating it. It's still in operation.
And where is it?
It's in Cartersville. It's on the corner of Pine Grove and Douthit Ferry, right across from the Cartersville Middle School.
Oh, yeah.
In the same building that Dr. Slocum, the dentist, is in.
Got it. Understood.
By El Charro's.
Yeah.
You live in Cartersville.
Yeah, I do.
El Charro.
I do. My wife was there last night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
Right next to El Charro.
Very fun. Look at that. Okay, good stuff. It's fun being able to talk to somebody that knows Cartersville. So when I'm like, where is it? And you're like, oh, yeah, it's on the corner of this and this. It's like, oh, yeah. That's nice. That's nice. Speaking of Cartersville, what was Cartersville like 20 years ago? Because, I mean, we all know what it's like now. Because I live there. I'm probably part of the problem. I'm part of the weirdos that flocked there over the last couple of years because it was affordable. I mean, for a first-time home buyer, young couple, no kids. My wife teaches in Kennesaw, and so she wanted to be in Kennesaw, but you can't buy a house in Kennesaw for less than $450,000. Who can afford that for their first home? So we had some friends that bought some land in Cartersville, and they said, hey, you should check out Cartersville. It's a nice town.
It is.
And I was like, okay. So we went out and fell in love with it immediately. We went and looked for houses. We went downtown. We ate lunch downtown and just loved the downtown area and all the restaurants and the local businesses and just kind of fell in love with it instantly. And I thought, man, I wonder what this place was like back in the day. So you've been in Cartersville for as long as, your story goes.
But my mom's family moved there in 1850.
1850? Good Lord.
Etowah River there out toward Harley. And so, yeah, I was there every week. My granddaddy, he liked to ride around in the car. That was his thing.
Yeah.
And so he would pick me up on Saturdays or Sundays sometime, most on Saturdays, and we would go places all day long. We always went to Cartersville. That was where we started, and then we went somewhere else from there. But all his people were from there, so yeah, we started out in Cartersville. So yeah, I remember going down Harley Road. You're probably familiar with that.
Sure.
And we'd ride down Harley Road. You would hardly ever see a car. And if it was a car somebody he didn't recognize, I remember him always saying, "I wonder who that is. What are they out here for?"
That's funny.
And I would always say, I don't know.
He's talking to you as a young boy. And
Yeah,
he's like,
like I
"Who's
would
that guy?"
know.
You're
Yeah,
just like, "I don't know,
I don't
Grandpa.
know. I don't know who
I
it
don't
is.
know."
I remember him saying that though many times.
Oh, that's funny.
Hmm.
That's funny. Were you close with your grandparents? Real
Yeah,
close with them?
yeah, very much so. My granddad and I, he liked riding the car, like I said, so we rode all over the place and either hunted for coins and silver coins and such, or Civil War relics. That was his thing. So we would go wherever.
Did you ever find any?
Oh yeah, we found a whole lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, when he passed, we probably had as much stuff as most museums had.
Really?
But we hunted every weekend, and it's the area that the state of Georgia purchased in Resaca.
Yeah.
We hunted on that land when I was a kid because my granddaddy knew the guy there. I don't know, somehow we ended up there. I never exactly figured that out. But yeah, so we found all kind of stuff. We'd always come home with a sack full of stuff.
Really?
If we went up on Saturday and spent most of the day, we'd have a sack full of Civil War mini balls and those muskets and
Really?
all kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was Cartersville kind of Bartow area? Was that big Civil War kind of battleground or bases, or did you ever figure out why there was so much stuff?
Well, we hunted mostly for coins in Cartersville, but we went to Resaca. That's where we did the hunting for Civil War stuff. Yeah, when my sister and I were kids, my granddaddy had the spurs on the boots of the soldiers and such. We had so many of them that she and I played with them like you'd play jacks.
Yeah.
We played with them in the floor.
Wow.
He had so many of them. He had a sack of them. We played with him. He had the cannonballs. Each one of his rooms in his house, the doors were held up with a cannonball, Civil War cannonball. And
That's cool.
Can't think of the name, cartridge that they had at Kennesaw several years back that they had somebody detonate. And we had one of those in the trunk of his car. When you ride, occasionally you would hear it slide and hit the side of the trunk of his car. I thought if that thing was going to explode, the one we had would have exploded. I think they wasted a lot of time detonating. But anyway, that was, I saw that on TV. I thought, we had one of those in the trunk of the car.
We had that speed bump, and I was afraid for my life for a split second.
Pop, make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
That was.
You know, Mark, what they didn't have back in Civil War time? They didn't have branded and devoted designs. Do you want me to tell you about them?
Let me know about it.
Let me tell you about them a little bit, my friend. Are you looking to level up your company's merchandise game? Your brand deserves better than boring swag. T-shirts, hats, sweaters, Yeti cups, pens, golf balls, everything in between. I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that I've got merch for your morning drive. All of my merch products are made by Branded and Devoted Designs. They're a local family that do it in the great city of Harley, and they just have a passion for helping people level up their company gear. Like I said, hats, shirts, tumblers, mugs. That mug right there was made by Branded and Devoted to Designs. Make merch that your customers and their clients will brag about. Go to brandedanddevoteddesigns.com and make your brand stick. And if you mention that Logan sent you from your morning drive, or that you heard about them through your morning drive, or you heard about them through Logan, whatever combination, mention that and they'll give you 10% off your order. So if you're looking to do a company refresh in 2025, going into 2026, you're trying to get some new polos, some new hats, shoes, whatever you're trying to do, contact them and they can get you a fair quote and a good price plus 10% off just from knowing me. So it's a win-win scenario. But I'm willing to bet that they didn't have that back in the Civil War days. I don't think.
Probably not.
Probably not.
And didn't have that in New Harley because Mom was born there. So, yeah, I know they didn't have it then.
Well, good deal. Okay, so you're running this place, and how long before you sold it were you in it to the new owner?
Over 15 years.
15 years, okay. So then at that point, similar to when you left the old practice and went to this practice, what made you decide to sell? What got you there?
Well, I thought it was time to slow up because I see a lot of people who practice medicine and older, and they finally quit and they pass away fairly soon after that. And I didn't want to do that. So I decided it was time just to sell it and do something, and not quite so many hours, because that business, being by myself, was a 70-hour-a-week job.
Jesus.
So I thought it was time to slow up and enjoy life a little bit.
Sure, sure.
But I still like to do stuff. I just can't sit still. Sitting still is not my thing. So
Yeah, yeah, I understand that for sure. Whether I'm doing something, we talked about it when you were a kid, whether you're doing something for you or for school or for just something to keep you entertained. That's how I've always been too. I always got to be working on something. If I'm not busy, I'm dissatisfied. And it sounds like you're somewhat similar.
I would say so.
So where did Labs by Request come into play?
Well, no, in practice medicine all those years, I saw so many people who had gone and had the same 4 labs done every year, and they were normal and normal and normal, and and there's so many other things that they needed to have done, or would have a thyroid test that was on the margins. It's in the normal range, but it's always been at the one extreme of the normal range, and never had any other testing done. Personally, I think people need a little more access to make that simple, to just be able to have all that other stuff done. I'd seen them in the office. I said, "You never had any other kind of thyroid testing done? Because it's always been on the edge of normal." "No, I've never done anything else." I said, "Well, you need to." And you find they got some Hashimoto's or some other kind of thyroid disease. And they could have simply done that. So Kelly and I sat down for hours and hours and hours, it seemed like sometimes, but when you're looking at that screen. But we went through the labs and sort of organized them so that it'd be easy for people just to type in whatever their symptom was. Get a list of things to start with. It's not 100%, don't cover everything in the world, but it gives you a proper direction of what to do. And if you think you got thyroid issues, or the lab's always been marginal, just do the rest of them. It's fairly simple, and if they're abnormal, do something with it. And there's so many other tests that are available that are never done in the routine screening, like some other more sophisticated cardiac screening, which I had done and actually saved my neck. So I'm a real proponent of it now. But a lot of other environmental toxin testing, and, people take like all these multivitamins and such and never know where they're really making a difference. But there's new micronutrient testing that's done on the intralysosomally as opposed to the serum testing that's typically done traditionally. And just so many options that, people just haven't done or have been exposed to. And it's easy just to go through and look and see what's there. In fact, what that's fits me, or I got nail issues or hair issues or whatever. And well, those tests would be helpful for me to determine whether I really need those other tests or not. So people just needed access. So we provided access. It's all the things are priced according to what's appropriate. Our chemistry test is $39 or $49, and at one place I saw it was $249 for the same exact test.
Wow. I'd say that's pretty fair.
Yeah, my business partner, she and I have been working together for 26 years.
She the same one that was doing the previous
Walk-in
place
MD,
with you? Yep.
She was with me before Walking MD, but she had a friend who had some testing done, and about probably months before we opened up, and she has a high deductible, which most of us have, especially if you're in business for yourself. I
Sure.
guess you probably experienced with that.
Sure.
And but she paid $2,050 for the testing. There was a lot of tests now. No
Sure.
doubt about that. But, we went through individually and added them up. I thought it'd be somewhere near that. No, ours was $750. $1,300 different for identically the same test. So even people who have high deductibles, a lot of time you wind up paying a whole lot more than you should if, and sometimes just checking the price, and you can just check and see what the price is. If it's cheaper, have it done at our place. If it's cheaper, do it the other way. We're not trying to.
Sure. So then I assume, just based on this, what you've told me, that Labs by Request doesn't utilize insurance information. It's just purely come in, pay for what you need, and get out.
Well, you can go online and pay for it before you come in, and
Wow.
most time people are in there for maybe 5-10 minutes max. Or you can come in and select it there and pay for it there, and then have it have it done, and all the results are sent to the individual via email in a PDF form. So if they need
Wow.
to print it and take it to their doctor, or print it and take it to a specialist, or find out it's completely stone cold normal and be happy and rejoice, why, whichever one, they can do it that way. It comes to them individually.
This is really great. This is awesome.
I think it's organized so that people can, rather than just randomly start picking things, but it also gives you access. And I saw a young lady yesterday at the hospital, but she says, sometimes I just get this wild hair that I'm worried about something. And she said, and I go to my doctor 3 weeks from then, and sometimes by then I'm worried about something else, or they go, and then he says, you don't need to have that done. If you're worried about it, most time it's pretty cheap to figure out. So,
Sure.
so that's the reason we set that up. And I'm there intermittently, but not all the time. But we just sort of help guide her, and she has a question or something, she just texts me, and I send the information to her. What would be the best thing to do? So it worked out really well so far. We've been open for 5 months.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty fresh.
Yeah, very fresh. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So congrats
Well,
on
thank
that.
you. It's gone really well. It's been a good model thus far.
So then because one thing that I've always been so annoyed with just the general standard, if you will, medical practice is, oh, if you need some labs done, you got to book an appointment with your doctor. Then you got to go in and see your doctor. Then you got to do a copay, and then you got to do all these things, and then you got to go and get your labs. Are you telling me that if I want a lab done, I can just come into you and get it?
That's absolutely right.
What
You
the
decide you
hell, man?
want something done in the morning, you just go by there, and you can hook it up on the internet if you want to before you go, or you can just go in there and she can put it in and
That's an
pay,
outstanding
draw,
service,
go.
Doc.
Yeah.
What the hell? I feel like I've been lied to my whole life that these
Yeah.
places
It
exist, or
works.
does it really exist? Hello, everybody. We're talking today about another new sponsor that's representing your morning drive. We are brought to you today by the Corporate Vine, where custom learning solutions and startup business coaching come together to empower learning professionals and leaders. They offer hands-on support from project management tools to tailored development programs designed to help your organization thrive. If you're investing in your team's growth and impact, go ahead and check them out at thecorporatevine.com to learn more information. That's thecorporatevine, VINE.com to learn more information.
But, you can do some things through, lab place, but most of them aren't really local, and it's a little more difficult. There's some similar places around, but it's worked really well. We try to go and streamline it and make it as easy as possible. We even got one of those vein finders, which has been really impressive. Kelly's been drawing blood forever, and I always said she can get blood out of a turnip. I don't know. She don't look like she does anything different than anybody else, but blood comes out when she does it. I don't. Anyway, she has a knack for it. But sometimes the vein finder is just helpful when people are really nervous, and we've seen that a few times. That people are just really nervous and all tense, and if you put the vein finder on and you show where the vein is, and then they're just chilled as they can be, and you just draw the blood and go about their business. Just seeing that it's really there, I guess, is what does it.
Interesting.
I was surprised, but yeah, she's used it more for allaying fears than she has for hunting the vein. But anyway,
wow,
it's that's worked really well.
That's such a cool model. I just have never, because a lot of people are probably like me, and they're going to hear this or read about it in the Cartersville Living, and they're going to say, "What? The fact that the way that." I'd say I'm just making up percentages here. I don't have real data, but probably 85% of people operate in the mindset that I just described of, well, if I want blood results, I'm going to have to go and book a specialist, or I'm going to have to go and book. Now, let me pivot real quick. What about like an allergy test? Would I still need to go and see an allergist, or can I get those allergy labs done with you as well?
No, we do allergy testing too. Now, we don't do skin allergy testing. That's done through the allergist.
Sure. Theory that I'm allergic to bananas. Can you test for that?
They even have food allergy testing that is, like Korean or Mexican type food.
Really?
It's a food group. The food choices are a bit different. But yeah, we have those organized so that you if you have a predilection for eating one type food or another type food, you can choose those and do IgA or IgE testing for those.
Doc, I am
IgG
flabbergasted.
testing.
Is Doc, is that like an appropriate term? Probably not, right?
Doc.
Doc.
I've heard Doc for a long, long time.
Okay.
So I don't.
Anytime I say it, I just picture Bugs Bunny. What's
Yeah.
up, Doc?
I just have one friend who says, "What's up, Doc?" I know he's the only one that's ever said it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. This whole time, as I've been saying,
Every
Doc,
time I see
I
him,
just picture him munching on the carrot and in the back of my mind.
I've only had one person ever say, "What's up, Doc?"
I
He
think
says
everyone
it
else
every
is just
time I
afraid
see
to.
him. He says it every time I see him. But other than him,
I don't want to.
he's the only
just,
one.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not disrespecting
No,
your
you're
title or
fine.
anything,
No, it
because
doesn't
that's the
matter.
last
You
thing
can
I
call
want
me
to do.
anything. It doesn't matter to me.
All right, sounds good, friend. Yeah, this is excellent to know. Also, because I'm a Cartersville native, and so where is Labs by Request?
It's on the corner of 41 and Main Street. It's on South Dixie, that little access road. Well, you say that, most people are looking in their mind trying to figure out where it is, but it's in between Papa John's and Floyd's Barbershop.
Oh my God,
Right
man!
by Armando's. That's where we're looking.
Holy hell! I drive by you like every day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right halfway in between the two of those.
I'm excited about this. I'm hype about this. I'm gonna have to come and see you because because I just want to at this point I just want to see what you do, but also B, I need to get some tests done. And the last thing I want to do is book a silly appointment, which is what I call it because it's silly. Because it's like, hey, I'm just here because I want some labs done. And they still charge you the $30, $40, depending on your insurance copay. And then they say, okay, well, now you can go down to the labs anytime. And that's annoying.
It works out well. It's gone really well so far. And it's really those people who just get an idea that they want to know something at 2 a.m. and it gnaws on them to the next day, you can just come by and have it done. We do a lot of other functional medicine, that new area that we do quite a bit of actually, of functional medicine testing. Like it's called GI mapping.
Yeah.
And for like leaky gut and people who have bowel abnormalities and actually just recently sort of partnered with a nurse practitioner who that's what she does. And I just duly impressed with her. She very, very, very bright.
Miss Casey Proctor.
Casey Proctor, yeah. I had never met her or seen her or even heard her name until just recently. And very duly impressed with her. Just very bright, smart, kind, just nice person.
Kind as can be.
Yeah, absolutely. But very, very intelligent. But yeah, so she just actually this week. So
wow, yeah, I saw that on Facebook this week because I'm actually friends with Casey.
Are you?
Okay. I actually, embarrassing to say, but I recorded an episode of the podcast with her, I said, "Hey, I'll come to you," because Casey's office is right across the street from that movie theater, the AMC. I live in the townhomes across the street from the AMC. Okay. So I turn out of my neighborhood and get into the turn lane and turn into Casey's office. That's how close I am to her within 2 minutes. So I said, hey, I'll just bring all my equipment to you rather than having us both go to Marietta to record. I'll just come to your office. So I set up the camera, set up the microphone, set up everything. We get through the entire episode. I get home, load up the file on my computer, and the audio file was corrupted. And I have this, that was my reaction. I have the superstition that anytime I go somewhere not here and record an episode, something happens, whether the video file gets messed up or the audio file. So I've just had it she's been on my get back in the studio list so that I can re-record with her. So we talk from time to time, and I saw her post on Facebook saying that she was going to partner with you guys. And I said, holy crap, I'm talking to this guy tomorrow night. And she was like, oh, he's so great. Make sure you talk about me. Yeah. So here we are talking about you.
She didn't ask me to do that, but I did it anyway. After I said it, I thought maybe I should have asked you it was okay to mention her name. I don't know how all that works.
She definitely, here she is. She texted me at 5:45 today.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't even seen this yet. But she said, make sure you mention me in our new partnership.
Oh, okay.
So she said that last night.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So there you go.
So you can check that on the checkbox.
Shout out Casey if you need that kind of help. She's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
She just knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, she's very, very bright. And but there's a lot of new, interesting functional medicine type testing, environmental toxin testing, which is pretty impressive. I never had really looked at that too much until just recently, but about plastics and benzene and phthalates and all that chemistry stuff. So
Sure, sure.
most people are probably not that interested in the words, but I guess I am since I'm a chemist.
Well, sure.
But it's pretty interesting stuff.
Love
Don't
that.
know what you're exposed to until you check and see. There's certainly ways you can avoid those. So yeah, the environmental toxins, pretty interesting testing to be done.
Yeah, I can tell. So tell me about bluegrass music. Tell me about your passion for music.
Oh, I love music. My friend and we took guitar lessons when I was 14, I guess. Yeah, I still have the guitar I bought when I was 14.
Wow.
And but I just always liked music. I probably should have taken piano lessons like my sister did, but I spent too many hours in the back seat of the car waiting on her to get out of lessons, and I said, "No, I'm not going to take piano." But yeah, I played music for as long as I can remember. I was a church music director for a period of time, and actually done a little interim stuff along the way. A friend of mine, actually, I bought a upright bass in Nashville on eBay from Mike Bubb. He's a noted bass player because I just wanted one. I had a guitar and a banjo and had a bunch of other instruments, more than I probably needed. But anyway, I had them. But I bought that instrument. And by the time I bought it, Ty, who I've known forever, he's an incredible musician, said, I'm going to play for my granddaughter at the church at Christmas. She's singing Silent Night. And he said, I'm going to play it on the flat top guitar. He said, why don't you play that bass with me? I never played the bass. And I was ashamed to tell him I never played it because I went up and bought a bass from a guy in Nashville. So I said, well, send me a recording. I found that this weekend, actually, the recording he sent over of you playing it, and I'll try to work out a part. So I got a tuner out and found the positions on that upright bass and worked out a bass part. I mean, I knew the notes and everything because I played the guitar, and it's just the same first four strings. But so I went up there and played. First time I ever really played was that time with him at Christmas time. Played with him and his granddaughter. She sang Silent Night. Did a great job. Then after that, he said, well, why don't we make us a bluegrass band? I thought, well, I don't know how to do that either, but I figured out. So started a bluegrass band. Got some. He knew him because he's a incredible musician. He plays everything like professionally. He actually had a recording contract, I think, when he was 18 or 19 years old.
Wow.
Start Records. He's an incredible musician. And he had some other guys. John, who's probably the best guitar player I've ever seen.
Really?
Ever. Professional. He played on the road for a long time. And he was just, oh my goodness. He's passed recently, but he was incredible. When he played guitar, you could almost hear the words coming out of the guitar. He was so incredibly good. And so I played with Ty and John and another guy on the dobro, and my nephew played the rhythm guitar. And I sort of felt like I shouldn't be playing with these guys. These guys
I'm not qualified to be here.
So I had to practice a lot in between our practices so that I'd be up to playing.
Sure.
But I got where I play it all right. So we played ever since. We've been playing together off and on for a long time. Had a couple of deaths, so I had our John passed from, and then we had another guy played the flat top, and he passed. So my nephew's playing with us now. But yeah, I just enjoy playing. We play some church engagements, and we played some out at the Gordon County Fairground and other places. But we do more practicing than we do playing out. But Thursday night bluegrass practice has always been the best 2 or 3 hours of the week.
Really? So you go consistently every week?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, that's really cool, man. Mm. So on top of running this successful so far business, you're also going and playing bluegrass on Thursday nights. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, for a while they wasn't able to because people were sick or whatever.
Sure.
But we try to play as often on Thursday as we can.
Wow. And that's really cool, man. That's really cool. It seems like you're the kind of guy that If you don't know how to do something, you're going to figure it out. That seems to be what you've done in your career so far.
I guess you would say that.
I mean, you don't know how to do this, so you do it. You don't know how to play the guitar, so you figure it out. You don't know how to do the bass, so you do it. You're not much of a kind of guy. You're more so of a, well, I'll figure it out kind of guy.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah. Dad and I, we built a building when I was 14 years old. He and I did. And in the backyard, neither one of us ever built a building. He said, "You think we can build one?" I said, "Yeah, we can do it."
And you did?
So we got the materials. It's still at my mom's backyard. It hasn't fallen down in 50 years almost.
Hadn't fallen down?
No, it still looks just like it did when we finished it. So,
wow.
For the most part. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. He and I did pretty much most of the construction on the house I live in on Saturdays. So if you want to know how long it takes two old men to build a house on Saturdays, it's 2 years.
Man, Mark, there comes a point in every conversation I have with my guests where I ask them a collection of questions that have really nothing to do with anything we just talked about. They just have everything to do with you as a person. We just talked about your business, your education, your hobbies, but I want to know who you are when no one's around. When everybody, after work, when you're having alone time, when you're with your friends, colleagues, whatever. I want to just know who you are as a person. Are you ready for these questions? They're very easy questions.
Okay,
I'll say that. They're like first date questions.
Okay.
But before I ask you those questions, I want to tell you about one more friend of the podcast.
Okay.
Doc. It feels so weird saying Doc out loud. I'm going to stop that. Every time I've said it, it just feels
I brought
weird.
a couple carrots if I'd known.
That's good. I like that. Very good. Guys, if you're looking to elevate your business and your brand, Hammerhead Creations is here to help. Hammerhead offers top-tier marketing services, including social media management, website design, Google page optimization, ensuring your business reaches the right audience. Whether it's a side hustle or your full-time job, their expert team is ready to help you grow. Plus, if you're into podcasts like me, they support podcast creation from concept to production. They'll help you bring your ideas to life and to air. Visit hammerheadcreations.com and discover how they can take your business or podcast to the next level, and then you too can swim with the big sharks. Mark, are you ready for these first date questions?
We'll see.
You didn't know you were on a first date with me
didn't
tonight,
know that.
but
No, I didn't
that's
know
okay.
that.
My
You
wife
buying
won't mind. Hey, it depends on where.
Okay, cool.
What's your favorite movie?
I've never really been a big movie fan, but I remember seeing Jaws. It's been Jaws week when I was a kid. That was the most impactful movie that I can ever remember seeing.
Well, I mean, it's single-handedly caused the entire planet to be afraid of the ocean. We're recording this the week of, I'm pretty sure it's 50th anniversary.
It is. A Shark Week. I was just seeing some of that on TV this weekend, so I guess that brought that memory back. But yeah, that was very impactful. Made me nervous when I got back in the water the next time.
Sure.
I was looking a lot.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, my biggest fear is sharks, for sure. Just funny enough, we went to the theater this last weekend and saw the new Jurassic Park movie. And they showed a trailer for the 50th anniversary of Jaws and that they're going to re-release it in theaters for the 50th anniversary. And I leaned over to my wife and was like, "You've seen Jaws, right?" She was like, "Nope." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, I've never seen it." And I was like, "We're fixing that.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to the theaters and watch Jaws on the big screen." Because Jaws was crazy because it was the first blockbuster. Like I've read so many books about how Jaws was like the first line wrapped around the corner at the movie theater.
It was big, yeah.
So
No doubt.
it started a lot, but if nothing else, it single-handedly made people afraid to get in the water. I think you've answered this question during the course of our conversation, Doc, but what was your first job ever? The first time you ever got paid to do something, what was it?
Besides that work I did, for people around the neighborhood and whatever, I worked for Joe Willerman at Altman Brothers Foods.
There you go.
I worked for him for 7-8 years. The whole time I was in high school and all the time I was in college.
Wow.
I worked for him. Great man. He's probably beside my dad, the most instrumental as far as work ethic and just, doing the right thing. He was just a fine man.
Very good. Very good. I'm really excited to hear your answer for this one, considering your fandom of the bluegrass world. Mark, I tell you, you get to organize your own music festival. and you get to pick 3 headliners, anyone you want. Who are they? Alive or dead?
Ricky Skaggs, Flatt Scruggs,
Okay.
and Rhonda Vincent.
There we go. 3 greats. I'll buy tickets to that festival.
There you go.
Hopefully, I hope you would pass me a couple tickets under the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Some
Good.
nice seats.
Thank you. Appreciate that. On a day that you're not working, which I'm sure is few and far between, how do you take care of yourself? How do you recharge? How do you take care of yourself?
Well, we like to get out and do some hiking and the trails up near the house. And Carol and I just like to get out in the car and go where the nose of the car takes us. And now we have GPS. It's really nice. We just go, and sometimes we've been places we know where we were and, hit the return home button.
There you go.
And it took us back home. So I like doing that more than anything.
Really?
It's just rambling. You never know what you want to see. You see all kind of interesting stop places, talk to people. I like just talking to people. And so that's my favorite thing to do.
Very good. Very good. What is some of the best advice you've ever been given that you think of regularly?
Work hard and treat people right.
Doesn't get any better than that.
That's what Dad always said.
Yeah.
If somebody's doing something you don't need to be doing, don't participate in it.
Dad's a smart man.
Yeah.
What's your biggest fear?
Heights.
Really? Don't do heights.
Well, I don't mind heights in a plane. I went to flight school. I don't like flights standing on my feet. If I'm sitting in the seat, I don't care how high I am. If I'm standing up, I don't want to be high. I don't know what the difference is.
No, I relate. I'm the same way.
Yeah, there's a difference.
It's like back when I graduated high school, I lived in kind of near DC at the time, and DC was only not too far away from New Jersey, drivable distance. And me and my friends in senior year of high school got this crazy idea of like, the tallest roller coaster in the world, Mark, is in New Jersey. Or it was. They just tore it down for some reason. I was just talking to my dad about it last week. My friends and I were like, we want to ride the tallest roller coaster in the world to celebrate high school graduation. And my dad loves to have fun. And he was always one of the boys for sure. So he said, well, I want to go. So he was like, how about you and your friends stay the night? Tomorrow morning, we'll wake up real early, drive to New Jersey, go to Six Flags, ride this roller coaster, and then drive home.
Oh.
And so we did. So I'm an adrenaline junkie, and people often ask me, and this roller coaster was 455 feet tall. And people are like, were you afraid? And I was like, no, I was strapped in. I was okay. As long as I feel a seatbelt or a harness or whatever, I'm all good. But the second you're like, hey, we're 450 feet in the air, you got to walk across that bridge.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no. And then lastly, Mark, what is your main motivator? What pushes you to do great every day? What is your morning drive?
Do something, be nice to somebody. And listen to somebody and make their path a little bit better.
I like that a lot, my friend. So now I'll turn to you and ask you to tell the people how to find you, how to get in touch with Labs by Request, how to book you guys for your services. Go ahead and advertise away to the people.
Well, we are online at labsbyrequest.com. Just sign in and you can find whatever lab you want. You can go ahead and order it. You can pay for it online, or you can just hit the pay in person tab and you can pay when you get there. We're at the corner of Main Street and 41. It's on South Dixie Avenue, but it's Main Street and 41 by Floyd's Barbershop. It seems like everybody in the world knows Floyd's Barbershop. And so we're right next to them. Nice people, too. I'll go ahead and shout out to them since we're in the shout-out mode. Or you can just walk in, and she will help you just to get all that organized. She'll draw your blood. And normally you're there 10 minutes, probably people 10, 15 minutes max, 10 minutes generally. And the results will come to you. So labsbyrequest.com.
Awesome. Guys, I'll make sure I put in the description of the episode the link to Labs by Request. So if you're interested and you have been interested along the way and you're interested in learning more, you can just scroll down and you can click the link and it'll take you straight to Labs by Request to get directions, get information, and everything else in between. Mark, thank you for being here with me, man.
I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it as well.
This is my first podcast I've ever done, and it's pretty fun, actually.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I always love connecting with good people with good work ethic, and also someone local down the street from me, so I can pop in at some point and say, "Hey, what's up?"
Certainly can. Just come by.
I sure will. We'll have to go tear it up downtown sometime.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
Great deal, guys. Well, again, I'll throw the link in the description for Labs by Request so you guys can get in touch with them if you need to. All of my links, of course, are in the description of the episode. Thank you to Fireworks for hosting us. Thank you to Good Days, Branded and Devoted Designs, Hammerhead Creations, all of our friends and partners, including the new relationship we have with Cartersville Living. Thank you to anybody who's tuned in from Cartersville Living. We appreciate you very much. And if you see us around town, say hey. Me and my wife go to them farmers markets all the time. So, if you see us, say what's up. We just appreciate you listening and interacting and supporting the podcast as well as supporting Labs by Request. So thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it very much, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care.